Today, I'm gonna talk a little bit about the Avatar. Love and hated. We're gonna talk about a little bit about Korra and the live action. I want to know, in general, as a whole, rate Avatar from like number 1 being booty to like 10. This is like god tier content. What do you think? I'm gonna tell you my rating after. High Ground says I'm gonna say a 9 on par with Naruto. Okay. 8. Okay, that's not bad. I'm gonna say 9. Like for me personally, is 9. It's not a perfect 10, but it's like really, really good. And I'm gonna tell you guys. I'm gonna tell you guys like a kicker. Okay, a kicker to this. When I was a kid, I used to watch Avatar, and the reason why I say it's not a 10, it's just like I don't know. I don't know why it's not a 10, but it's not a 10, and I can't tell you exactly why. It has very good storytelling. I think the storytelling is amazing. It has one main enemy and one main plot, not like the Legend of Korra. If you watch the Legend of Korra, you know what I'm talking about. It's a solid 9. But when I was a child, when I would watch it, I didn't know what the hell was going on because I never watched it in order. I was never one of those kids that would just like run at 6 p.m. and be like, holy shit, man, it's on right now, you know? So I rated it a 9. I think it's really, really good. The storytelling, keeping a main focus, the interests are all the same. The characters really develop really well in book 1, especially with like Sokka and Katara. I think that it's like a really good story building and character building too. I do think though, and I'm gonna talk about the live action after. The live action, I'm not like a hater with the live action at all. I think the live action has like its fair points, but obviously the animation's 10 times better. Like it blew my mind when I first watched it in whole. So like now watching it as an adult, like fully through, it blew my mind. And when I made that video about Uncle Iroh, and the reason why I love it so much is because he literally saved me. And I say that because he just gives you really good quotes, man. I'm a very emotional person, so like when I hear him talk about like just in general, like all his wisdom and stuff, like it just makes me feel like, wow, this man is touching deep within my soul, dude. He's just a really good guy, man. I really like it. But like if we're gonna talk about the live action, Katara is not it in the live action. There is nothing about her in the live action that like makes me think this is Katara. Katara is motherly, she's commanding, she's sensitive, and she's very much emotionally reactive. And in the live action, there was like nothing about that. She was very timid, she was very like calm and like docile and all that stuff. For favorite characters aside from Iroh, Sokka is my brother. I love him. I love Sokka. I think Sokka, like I mentioned before in my short, I think Sokka is like a very relatable character because last time I checked, none of us have abilities, so I think he provides like a really good comic relief in the animation. I think in the live action though, he did a pretty good job. That's just my opinion. I think Sokka did a pretty good job. I think his like misogynistic little kind of quirks are still there, which I mean, I know a lot of people might not like it. I'm kind of indifferent. I know that's just his character. I know it's not like the best, but regardless, like he has it, and he has like the funniness of it too. I think that Sokka did pretty good. And then Aang in the live action, I don't know. He's a little too serious. Aang's a child. He's literally a kid. And I think in the live action, he was way too serious. He just felt like he had to do it alone all the time. In the animation, he didn't feel that way. Because like in the live action, he kept saying, I have to do it alone. I have to do it alone. From what I remember in the animation, he wasn't really drawn on that. He was like okay with being with his friends. He wasn't such a serious person. Regardless of like the animation in general, I think the animation, like book 1, 2, and 3, it's a little slow pace, but it's not super slow and it's not super fast. I think it's like perfectly balanced. I remember there was like an episode or 2 per season where he got moody and wanted to do it solo, but for the most part he was happy having buddies with him. Yeah, that's what I remember too. I remember like Aang was just a very lighthearted kid and he always liked to goof around, and I think that's what made the show so awesome. Like that's what made the show really fun, because it had a really good comic relief. It had good tension. Like there was always tension, but it was quickly like resolved. You know when they were trying to find like in the desert the clock tower or whatever the building was with the freaking giant bird, the spirit. So that time it was like really serious from what I remember before Appa got stolen. I think Toph was like, look, there it is. essentially like that's what that's what it would sound like when one of you guys spots it. But I remember it being kind of serious during that period of time. So there's always like little funny key moments in comic relief, especially like I love, guys, I don't think you understand, I love Momo, and I don't know if you know, Momo has like a specific soundtrack that gets played during like when he comes out, and that's like a really another good thing about the animation. The freaking soundtrack is so good. Lemur!
Dinner.
There is a scene where they're at the beach and then Azula goes in there and she's so socially awkward. Like she doesn't know how to like make friends besides like the two people that she has, which I forgot their name. She doesn't know how to make friends. She doesn't know how to kiss a guy. She doesn't know how to do anything. She just wants to conquer the world. And she's like just a perfectionist at that point. I think in the live action though, I'm gonna say this, and I don't know if anybody has opinions on it. I do not like Azula in the live action. Like I don't think she is as intense. Like she's intense in the live action, but I think she could have been a little bit better. Like there was something missing about her in the live action, in my opinion. But regardless though, the live action, I think in general, like top points, the special effects are really cool, like awesome. And I think Uncle Iroh, even though he's not as charming as he is in the animation, he's okay in the live action, and Zuko's okay as well. I think the people who are not that good is Katara and Aang are just kind of like a little disappointment. But anyway, I'm gonna move on to the Legend of Korra. The Legend of Korra in general, I think it's a very average show. It's a very mid show, and I think it's very confusing in the sense that like the story is just confusing. There's always like a new freaking villain. Like I don't know why they have that happen. Every single season there's someone new, and I think the only cool part about the Legend of Korra, in my opinion, is like her arc when she gets like during her down point with this guy. I even forgot the freaking guy's name. When she was like basically handicapped because of him and super depressed. I think that part was like really interesting. It actually put some story into the Legend of Korra that I thought was a little bit interesting, and the way like she combat that, I thought that was pretty cool. In terms of like the Legend of Korra as a whole though, it's confusing. It doesn't keep a straight face, and you want to see more of the characters, I think, from Avatar: The Last Airbender. You see Zuko for like a brief moment, Katara you see her for a brief moment, Aang is dead. I don't know how he died. I don't even remember how he died. And I don't know, I thought it was cute. But regardless, there was nothing on Zuko's mom, which was teased hella in like the first 2 episodes or something, and like nothing ever happened after that, which I thought was like, bruh, what the hell was that about? Why are you gonna tease us about Zuko's mom and then not deliver? So that was like upsetting. And then the whole like Mako and Bolin love triangle that they had going on there, I didn't understand what the point was about that. And then towards the end of the show, when her and Asami basically kind of got together, a lot of people are saying that, you know, it was like a bisexual thing. Why? Like there's nothing wrong with it, but like where in the show was that part? Like I never saw it. A lot of people can appreciate the Legend of Korra, which I can understand, and that's why I watched it, but I was disappointed. From Avatar: Last Airbender, how good the story was writing, and then to the Legend of Korra, I felt like meh. People have told me too, like, oh, don't watch Legend of Korra right after Avatar. Yep, I can see why. Because you're like, damn, it doesn't hit. But I really like the universe, so I'll give it to that. But yeah, I think at the end of the story of like the whole Legend of Korra, I was confused. Like the last episode, I said, what? That's it? Like I literally said, what? That's it? There's nothing else to this story? Like, I don't know, man. Like if Asami and her were gonna get together, right? I would have liked it to be more obvious. I felt like it was just bad story writing at the end. It was kind of like Game of Thrones, when Game of Thrones just kind of like fell off. You're like, bro, what the hell just happened? That's kind of exactly what it felt like. It felt like they were trying to just piece things together and to just make an ending, and it was just like blah. But yeah, that's my 2 points, guys. That's my 2 points on the whole entire season show. Like it's very short. I didn't do an extensive writing on this, but I thought it was fun. I think that's about it. There's nothing else on my roster. I just wanted to yap about Avatar: Last Airbender. I think Avatar: Last Airbender is great show. I think the universe is very good too. I'm still going to watch the live action season 2 when it comes out, and yeah, I'm really excited, and I'm excited for what's next to come.